See, the problem with me is that I am very easily influenced by the media that I consume, whether it be books with certain types of characters or a series of television shows with lots of characters that have very distinct characteristics, or with movies with characters that I personally feel attached to or I feel like that I personally relate to. I always tend to find myself trying to emulate these characters and try to be these fictional people that don't exist. Now, for this video, I decided that why not try to live my life like a fictional character, and the very fictional character that I'm trying to become is someone that I like to think is a part of my personality, but is not my whole personality. And that's the type of character who tends to find themselves in a very sticky situation. They tend to be very happy, very go-lucky, very messy sometimes, and they also tend to fall in love with someone that is a complete opposite of them. It's my favorite trope. It's the sunshine and grumpy trope. It is the hot mess with the rule-following hero. Now, for this video, I decided that I need a set criteria to follow in order for me to fully embody this fictional character. It's gonna include the look, the clothes, obviously, even what I eat, the activities that the fictional character would probably do. And now, because this is a booktube channel, if you're new here, welcome to my channel. I do have book recommendations at the end of this video that have characters that are very similar to this very zany, funny, sunshine type of girl. So the first thing that I did on the day that I decided to do a live action role-playing game and cosplay as this fictional character that I tend to read a lot from my books is obviously eat. I need to eat breakfast because I always eat breakfast every single day because I get hungry just like any other normal human person that needs sustenance in their bodies. I thought maybe this girly character would eat something fresh, something fun, something sweet, and something delicious. So I decided to make myself a overnight oats with blueberries. And for coffee, I decided that I needed a little bit of a leeway. I personally like to drink my coffee black in the morning because it's the type of coffee that's readily available to me. It's strong, it's dark, it's bitter, it's something that can wake me up instantly. But obviously, a fictional character like the one that I just described, who is very fun, who's very flirty, who's very sweet, would probably like something very sweet as well. So I decided to also order a Starbucks drink, which is the Chestnut Praline Christmas Drink Special. And it was something that I thought this fictional character would really enjoy. Because when I read these novels, these girls tend to just drink the sweetest drinks ever, and I have to admit that this was a very hard drink for me to swallow because it was just a lot of sugar and I wasn't in the mood for sugary drinks. The next thing that I did eat was lunch. It was lunchtime. I had to eat some food, and usually these types of girls, they don't really care about their bodies, and I am 100% somewhat of like this type of girly. Like, I find myself on a fine balance of eating healthy but also eating like a trash can at most times. And you know what? I thanked the gods for this video being filmed on this day because I didn't have to spend any additional money because my family decided that they wanted to eat Taco Bell for lunch. So I just basically had tacos, and I think that that was very appropriate for this type of character. I think that she is this type of girl that is not afraid to eat junk food mixed with healthy food. And then for moving on to dinner, what I did eat to really just balance out who I think this person is and what she would eat, I had a really nice garden salad, and it was refreshing, it was light, it was definitely a great balance to my tacos that I had at lunch. Moving on from my food, the next thing that I have to talk about is obviously the career and the job. Now, I'm not gonna quit my job for the sake of this video because jobs are kind of hard to look for and hard to kind of just change at a moment. You need some time to change a job and to change your whole career. So I had to stick to my normal job, which was nothing that this character would actually do. Jobs that I think this character would be suited for are just like teaching jobs. It's either you're teaching young children, or I find them to typically deal with a lot with art and just like dealing with younger students. They're not college professors. If it's not a teaching job, it's usually just a very simple or very light, fun job that they are just doing to typically pass the time. I find that the books that I read with these types of characters have our girls be in places where they feel like there's a job mismatch, or they feel that they can do something better, or they're just doing it because it pays the bills. And there's definitely nothing wrong with that. And then that was it. So I couldn't really change that part of my life to fit the fictional character. Okay, so after a long day of work, like, what does this fictional character really do to pass the time? And honestly, for me, I read books to pass the time. I chat with my friends, but I wanted to do things that this fictional character does. And I feel like after a rough day, she'll probably turn back to a comforting movie that she personally relates to. So I just decided to turn on one of my favorite movies, and that a character that fully embodies this character that I'm going for, and that's Bridget Jones' Diary. And Bridget Jones' Diary, if you haven't watched it, it's literally about like a 20-something-year-old who is still single, who wants to lose weight, who wants to get a better job, and who ultimately wants to fall in love. And I feel like that's the type of girl that I'm trying to be, you know, like just like somebody who is a little bit messy, acknowledges it, but wants to be a better version of themselves. Obviously, I am still reading a book. The current book that I was reading for this video, it's from Michelle Rowan, called Bitten Smitten, and it's a paranormal romance. It's a zany contemporary romance published in the early 2000s. It's about a girl who is just having a fun, grand time until she gets bitten by a vampire, and now she's turned into a vampire, and in order for her to complete her full transition into a vampire, she must be saved. And the one person that saves her is, of course, the lord of the vampires in the town that she lives in. And now she's like thrown into his world, and she causes a lot of chaos because he himself is very rule following, he's very strict with himself, and everybody respects him. But then she is like the complete opposite of him, doesn't respect him at all, doesn't care about his title, just wants to tell him to shut up most of the times because he is very frustrating and he needs to bend the rules a bit and needs to change up his governing styles. Anyways, it was a fun, zany read that I enjoyed, and I would recommend you to check it out. It's a part of a series, so there's like 4 other books in the series, and I have them on my shelf. I will try to read it this year, but no promises. There's obviously going to be other activities that this fictional character does, which includes listening to fun pop music. I forgot to mention this, but while I was working, I was listening to early 2000s pop music. I was listening to throwback music, and I felt like the fictional character would really like to listen to Britney Spears, Jesse McCartney, you know, we got Michelle Branch, we got all our classic, you know, early 2000 music artists. I must admit that while I was working and jamming out to these songs, I got really annoyed because these songs were very pop and I wasn't in the mood for pop. I was kind of dead inside because it was like the week after the holidays and I just wanted to take a nap. And here I am just listening to Britney Spears and her telling me that now she is stronger than yesterday. One of the most important things about embodying this fictional character is really just dressing yourself and making yourself look like a fictional character. So thank goodness I had this phase in my life where I thought I could be a cute girly girl, and I bought a lot of clothes that have a lot of patterns on them that I can't really wear outside to work because, you know, like when you're working in corporate, you can't really wear a sweater with hearts on it and that is pink and red stripes. But for these videos, I can definitely wear those. So I picked out a cardigan that I felt that a really happy-go-lucky type of character would wear, and then I paired it with like just kind of like a normal white cami tee underneath that was a little bit cropped. And for pants, I just wore pajama pants because honestly, for videos like this, like I feel like she would wear pajama pants. I don't think she would wear, you know, normal jeans with outfit, but if she were to go out, maybe she would wear jeans, but at home, she's definitely wearing pajama pants. And then for the makeup look, I just went with a simple, you know, girly makeup look with like a lot of blush, red lipstick, and just like normal cute eyeshadow and eyeliner. And then you can't forget about the hair because I definitely forgot about the hair when I was doing this makeup look. I didn't know what to do with my hair. I recently cut bangs. I don't really like the bangs anymore, and they were like kind of pissing me off because they were just in my face a lot. So I figured like a fictional character like this would just put a headband on and just call it a day. So that was me living my life like a fictional character who is the happy-go-lucky sunshine girl who just likes to have fun. She's pure sweetness. She's kind. She just loves everybody, and she just sings to birds and animals all love her. She is like the Disney character trope. I know you guys are probably wondering, like, what about your love life? Because if you're gonna live like a fictional character from a romance novel, shouldn't we like talk about your love life? Well, it's kind of hard finding a man for a video in short notice. I don't know if you guys know this, but for me at least, it's hard to kind of just go out onto the streets and find a man who is tall, strong, good looking, works in a job that's the complete opposite of my job, who, you know, doesn't like me at first, but then realizes that they do like my spunky personality and wants to fall in love with me. So it was kind of hard. But now really just for book recommendations, I know everybody's waiting for it, but I was inspired by this video because of these books. So the first book that I have to recommend to you, if you guys are looking for this happy dynamic and this character that I personally really enjoy reading about, the first book is Confessions of a Shopaholic by Sophie Kinsella. It's a popular novel that I feel like a lot of people has read before, but if you're new to reading, or if you haven't been reading books published a decade ago, then maybe you never read this yet. But basically this girl is a shopaholic. She likes to spend her money, and she gets herself into a lot of debt, and she needs to find a job to pay off her debt, and she falls in love with basically one of her bosses. The second book that I wanted to recommend is I Can Fix That by Juliana Smith. I talked about this book a lot in my recent videos, but it essentially involves like a young educator who is very sweet, she's very caring, and she's bubbly, and she falls in love with this really gruff carpenter. Like, he's just like a fixer-upper, and I don't think he ever went to college, so he looks down on himself a lot, but he just wants to protect himself from loss. So he doesn't want to fall in love with our heroine, but our heroine just kind of sneaks it up on him, and he falls in love with her in the end, and it's an opposites attract romance. The next book that I want to recommend is this romantic suspense novel that I talked a lot about in my previous videos too. It's called Don't Play with Odin by Cynthia Eden. This one involves Odin, who is like a tough security guard. He was like an ex-army officer working for like this special operation, so he's like really well trained. He's a man of few words, and he falls in love with our heroine, who is the complete opposite of him. She likes to get into everybody's business, and she suspects that her neighbor is a serial killer, and everybody just thinks she's just this wacky, funny girl, and that she's just being crazy. But then in reality, yeah, something is definitely happening next door, and he's worried about her, so he's just gonna play the role of protector in her life, and it was amazing. I really enjoyed it. The next book that I want to recommend is this one called Houston, We Have a Problem by, I believe, Erin McCarthy. I think that's her name. This one involves two doctors, so you would think that being a doctor, our heroine would be very serious, but she's, you know, she's quirky, she's cute, she's kind of like a resident doctor if I remember correctly, so she's not really like there yet, but she's obviously being held responsible for a lot of medical practices. But she ends up falling in love with one of the doctors in the hospital that she works for. He is very, you know, he doesn't want to blend, you know, work and romance together, but then what happens when you work with the love of your life, and you know that that person that you work with every single day is the one that's right for you. She is clumsy a lot of the times, she's funny, she's sassy, she's all these different types of people that he is not, and I just loved it. The next one that I have to recommend is Twice Shy by Sarah Hogle. Now, I don't really like Sarah Hogle's books, or actually I just didn't really like her debut novel, but Twice Shy was a really good one. It really hit the spot for me. It involves our heroine who inherited a house from, I think, her great aunt, and then now she has to like fix the house, but she has no idea where to start with this like massive project. This is a huge thing for her to do because she's not used to this level of responsibility, and then in walks our hero who has to help her rebuild the house. It was interesting, it was entertaining. Of course, she finds herself into a bigger mess than she first started. So that is it for all the books that I have to recommend challenge you for fictional characters that I try to emulate and try to embody. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Definitely there's going to be more videos in the future where I'm going to try different things. 2023 is definitely going to be the year for me where I try to be more creative with my videos. I know, and you know, that my videos are kind of a little stale, kind of a little boring with me just kind of like sitting here telling you guys about my thoughts on these books. So I'm trying to be more creative and trying to do more fun things as I review these books. But yeah, I have a whole list of ideas. So subscribe to me if you guys haven't already, and continue to watch my videos to see what kind of ideas that I'm bringing to the table. I'll see you guys again next time. And just a reminder, this mic is not plugged in. Bye!